Ça. Je suis ça, ce qu'on entend. Les gitans, c'est ça. C'est la douceur, la beauté dans des corps et dans des vies qui font peur aux autres.
We are in the first Roma Pavilion, and as you know, the Venice Biennale opened its gates in 1895, and since 1895 there was not one Roma artist ever presented in any of the national pavilions or in the main exhibitions of the Biennale. It's very important for the Roma community, as it is the first choice for cultural self-representation. And it's very important that Roma have no infrastructure for representation, no museum spaces, no possibilities for communications. And this is the first time that they receive a professional infrastructure and platform. Almost all the artists here do not represent themselves in a homogeneous culture. They are all bilingual, they are all multicultural, and they have wonderful skills, which are interestingly now the ideals of European citizenship. For example, Gabi Jimenez, his biography starts with, "My mother is Spanish, my family are Spanish Gitanos, I have French brothers. One thing is sure, I was born in 1964 in Paris."
Ma mère, mon père, là c'est moi, mes frères et Jésus-Christ. Il est extraordinaire parce qu'on y est tous, avec mes frères et on est de la famille, maintenant qu'on est tous dispersés. Mon père est mort, ma mère est en Espagne, un de mes frères est loin, l'autre à côté. Et je ne l'expose pas parce que c'est très privé. C'est difficile de montrer dedans, de nous, ça. T'es où, Poupouille? Là. De tout petit, chez nous, dans notre famille, ma mère, elle faisait déjà, avec des petites pattes, des petits volailles. Et on accrochait ça à la porte des maisons ou des fenêtres ou des caravanes. C'était pour empêcher que les gens ou les esprits viennent nous rentrer dans les maisons. On traite toujours les gens du voyage, les gitans, les gypsies, de voleurs de poules, Alors à un moment, j'ai commencé à les garder, à les sécher, à les mettre, à les rendre. Ça, c'est fini. Ça, c'est mignon. C'est rouge, c'est verni. C'est la nature qui le fait tout seul. Les mouches, elles viennent, elles pondent, ça sèche, et c'est fini. Et je suis pas un barbare. Non, je suis pas un barbare. Regardez, c'est joli, il y a les fleurs et les poulets. Je me trouve pas artiste romain, je me trouve artiste. Dans la famille des artistes. Alors j'ai pas un style, j'en ai plusieurs. Ça va du plus simple, le trait le plus simple, iconographique, quelque chose qui va être le plus, qui va représenter comme la caravane la chose la plus simple pour que les gens sachent tout de suite que c'est ça et qu'il n'y ait pas d'autre interprétation possible. Le message, il doit être direct. Le fait d'avoir été à la Biennale fait une grande différence pour moi. Grâce à la Biennale, j'ai pris l'avion. J'avais jamais pris l'avion de ma vie. Je n'ai jamais bougé de nulle part à cause de l'avion. Une peur physique. Et je suis fier d'être là-bas. J'étais fier qu'on me dise d'y aller. Je suis fier qu'on ait pris mes caravanes pour les montrer. Et je suis fier que tout, quand on parle de ça, on voit les caravanes.
It's very important that there is an iconography to Roma culture, which is from the caravan or from the carriage. And you will find these elements which get dressed with symbolic content in the artworks, in many of the artists' works. We have artists who absolutely satisfy the contemporary art taste, and artists who are painting exclusively for the Roma community. And this is the room that we were expecting to get a lot of trouble from contemporary critics and curators, because this is absolutely something that a well-educated critic would call gypsy kitsch. But it's also important that this is what Roma people with buying power buy today. This is what they decorate their living rooms with. And these paintings are didactic, educating. For example, did you know that Kali goddess is the goddess that had all the sons, all the fathers of the gypsy tribes who have populated the world? Did you know that Charlie Chaplin was a gypsy as well? And our other artist is Damien Lebas, who believes that there is an underground networking possibility for all Roma around Europe and the world. And he's recreating this idea in different maps. Like, for example, here on the map of England and Wales, he shows the underground connection possibilities of the gypsy caravans.
It is quite a political thing to take a map and completely change it and like I did in the Biennale, I'd take, say, a map of Switzerland and I'd draw lots of gypsy and Roma faces on the maps and then I'd call it Gypsy Switzerland. See, I don't know what the Swiss people would think of that, but I don't mean any harm by it, but it's just to make people think. I like to draw on maps because it makes me, it reflects how I feel. That I don't really belong anywhere, so I feel I can do anything I want on a map or anywhere. Or Romanies are the most artistic and creative people on the planet, and they do their own thing and they're rebellious in spirit, and life would be so boring without the world without gypsies. What a boring place that would be. Right, well this is the kitchen. This is our kitchen, but it is also where I work. It's strange, I started becoming successful, didn't I? And I used to encourage Delane to do her art. And she's become very good now. And she likes to do her own thing, but she's becoming more and more of a powerful artist, so. And then she's managed to get the biggest studio. If you look in here, Delane claimed the biggest room to do the art in. I painted it to be a dining room where we could sit and eat, but we've never had one meal in here.
I don't know, we've always seemed to have been on the outside, so whether being in the Biennale is going to actually change anything in that respect. I don't really know. It's difficult to say because that's more about how other people perceive the work. And I certainly don't think about sort of the marketing aspect or the commercial aspect of being an artist because I just have to sort of produce what I produce. So whether that makes me mainstream or not, I don't really think so to a degree. I just want to be an artist and leave the boxes and everything else to everyone else. I mean, I'm very lucky that I do what I do all the time, and I am an artist, and I do lots of, I'm lucky to be able to do it all the time.
Art and culture is a much more effective way than politics when we communicate about Roma people. Culture has a positive starting point, while the situation of employment, housing, the present-day racism in Europe are negative issues that start with a negative vibe. It's very important that we create a strong statement with a positive starting point, which puts Roma and Gypsy people into a framework where they can express pride and strength and positive character.
This no entry sign is a reference to some work I've done before on no traveller signs, which we still sometimes get in the UK. Signs basically saying that they don't want gypsies in the premises, usually pubs and that kind of thing. Well, the subject of my research is about Roma aesthetics, and part of my intention with that research is to raise the visibility of Roma, because from my personal experience I've felt that Roma and Gypsies in the UK, which is my experience, are just not seen. We're an invisible group, and as a visual artist and a Roma, I think I'm ideally placed to make Roma visible. I think Gypsies aren't seen as real people. They're seen as pretend people, really, and people that are pretending to be something that they're not. So it's a difficult position, and it continues. It's better than it was, but it's still not there yet. Yeah, this is good. This is working good. This is distracting. Yeah, I have to get rid of the orange and the green and make it all blue. I'm a gypsy, and often people say to me, you don't look like a gypsy. And that's a very interesting response on their part, because it means they have a particular idea of what they want me to be, and if I don't fit that, then they're conflicted around that. This is a picture of some of my family hop picking down in Kent. Hop picking is a very traditional gypsy occupation during the summer months. The chap in the hat is my father, and these are two of my sisters next to him. These are my cousins, and then my mother on the end. People have two ideas of the gypsy. One is the romantic idea of the travelling Romany in the caravan, at one with nature, and the other is the thief and the vagabond. People are comfortable with the romantic ideal, and of course that's an impossibility. It's an excuse for people to be able to disregard the humanity of gypsies and attack them.
Les enfants, c'est quoi ça?
Un carnet.
Et ça sert à quoi? Ça sert à, si on veut vivre en caravane, Il faut aller l'emmener en gendarmerie et puis les gendarmes, ils le prennent, ils disparaissent, ils regardent dans les fichiers si on n'est pas recherché. Ils reviennent, ils regardent comme ça, ils font le tampon. Ça dure des fois 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Et là il y a peur, on a peur là. Quand ils disparaissent avec le carnet et tout et qu'ils viennent et ils regardent comme ça. Alors nous on y va en famille. Comme ça au moins ça fait moins peur. Ça, c'est ma description comme dans la police. C'est ça. J'existe parce que ça. Ce qui est agréable, c'est nous les gens, les enfants. Ce qui n'est pas agréable, c'est les conditions du terrain là.
Quand il tombe de l'eau.
De l'eau,
Quand la police nous fait partir et qu'ils viennent à 6 h du matin, taper dans les portes, ils tapent à fond, ils regardent pas la caravane. On actionne, ils regardent pas faire des bosses. Des fois, ils tapent avec des matraques. On leur dit, monsieur, pourquoi vous tapez fort comme ça? On s'en fout, partez, il faut partir. Même pas le temps de faire du café le matin. Les enfants, ils ont les yeux encore collés, ils font ça là. Faut partir, ils s'en foutent qu'il fait froid.
Comme des chiens. J'ai une mission dans la peinture et c'est pas la mission qui me rapporte de l'argent. J'ai résolu le problème de l'argent. Maintenant, la peinture, c'est parce que justement, c'est mon combat. C'est le combat du terrain. Par semaine, chercher ton argent.
Mais moi, je demande mon numéro encore tout de suite. Hein.
Ah oui.
Ça sera rigolo de parler toutes les
Many of the artists who are exhibiting at this show, we can say, have now entered the art market. I believe that we have sold about 10-15% of this exhibition, which is a huge achievement. And I would not call these artists mainstream artists yet. But we are hoping that this exhibition will move on to other European contemporary art spaces and institutions. We are hoping to approach the Biennale Directorate again, giving them a huge headache about possibilities of being present in 2009 at the Biennale.